Hey everyone, it's Richard Metal Fan here, bringing you guys another 2021 review. And today we're going to be talking about the new EP from the band The Agonist entitled Days Before the World Wept, which is out now through Napalm Records. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with The Agonist, they're a metal band based out of Montreal, Canada. They've been around since 2004. And The Agonist, for me, they're kind of like labeled as like different styles of metal. There, some people label them as melodic death metal, and some people even put them as metalcore, which I honestly don't really see them being a metalcore band at all. I pretty much consider them a little bit melodic death metal, even having a little bit of like progressive metal influences. I discovered the Agonist back in several years ago. I wasn't like really too big, wasn't a huge into them. I liked one of their albums being 2012's Prisoner, which was pretty good. And it was around that time they had their former vocalist Lisa White Gloves, and now she's the vocalist for Arch Enemy. And now they have their current vocalist Vicky Psarikis. I can never say her last name. Yeah, and they put out The Eyes of the Providence, was just her first album with the band, and Five, and I thought was pretty good. But their last album, Orphans, I thought was probably their best work to date. And then here we are with their new EP, Days Before the World Wept, and I think it's a really good offering. It's 5 songs. I just like the production on this album is really solid. I just like Vicky's vocals. I like how she can just do like perfect clean singing and just go to growls just like that. I just like the contrast, sort of like the heaviness and the melodicness of the Agonist sound. The guitar work on this album is pretty tight. Danny Marino and Paco Gojobin come up with some great riffs, and the leads that Danny comes up with is great. The bass on this album is pretty audible. Chris Kellis, you could hear what he could do. And the drumming from my buddy Simon McKay. Simon's drumming is pretty much superb on here. So without further ado, let's dive into this CP track by track. Now, starting things off is Remnants Time, which starts off with a little bit of a piano line, which just sets like the whole mood for it. And then this track just goes simply searing and just igniting into full ferocity. And I love like the light and dark kind of mood within the track are executed well, with Vicky's like vocal pulse, which has that mesmerizing distinction of demon possessed growls, and then magically immersed with some just really great chords of clean polished tones. And Remnants in Time just retains sort of like the melodic moments, while also has bludgeoning heavy moments, and also some really great drum work, and it just creates a really great piece, and I think it's a great way to start things off. And then we move on to the next song, which is called Immaculate Deception. Now, pretty much this song encompasses each of those elements, from like the sultry like spoken narrative intro through the overt passages of like dissonant intensity and the pulverizing blast beats. Everything about this track is just brilliant, and Vicky's perfect vocals are a sound of wonder, with her ability to project the insidious and deliver a nice beauty being effortless. And I love how this, like I mentioned before, the switching from the clean singing to like bestial growls that just spew from the pits of hell just sucker punches you all around. And that truly is the strength of like the Agonist and what they are able to come up with. Then we move on to Resurrection. Now, Resurrection bridges like the EP so far with the pummeling drums to kick it off. The tempos are great, and just a burning melody and some superb vocal contrast, from like the sweet to clean to like the insane gutturals, and the sinister slap just offer just perfectly timed intermittent moments with double kick drums, and the vocally great, just a fucking great song. Next up is Feast on the Living. Now, this is an aggressive song, and I love like the choral sounding backing vocals are reintroduced with sort of like dual guitar harmonies of perfection, and it's just great. And then we close things out with the EP's title track, Days Before the World Wept. Now, this is a pure sonic attack. It's just starts off with a hypnotic sort of like acoustic intro to sort of like set the whole tone of it, and every aspect of the song is a way to pretty much end the EP, wrap it all up, from like the emotional like purging of blast beats to the monotone output of the rhythm section with some fierce forceful growls. How's it just everything is really just goes really hand in hand, and it's just a great way to end this EP. Now overall, Days Before the World Wept by the Agonist is a really good EP. I feel like this could be like a good thing to come for the next Agonist full-length album. So I'm going to give this EP a score. I'm going to give Days Before the World Wept and by the Agonist a solid 9 out of 10. So yeah, that's my review of the EP, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about it, and I'll see you all in the next video. And as always, keep it metal.